Okay, so we are recording. So this is our Empathy Circle. I'm just going to give a short introduction. Empathy Circle work group. Everyone gets 15 minutes if they're holding empathy circles to talk about their experience. And Bill is now going to share his story. Take it away, Bill.
Okay, it shouldn't be too long. One of the frequent visitors, although she wasn't here today, is Eva from Toronto. And she is involved with a philosophical discussion group that I find they're fascinating subjects. And so I helped her facilitate an empathy circle process with her group. There was another gentleman, I believe his name was Alex. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But anyway, I like them both. And I really enjoyed being with them. And it was, we met once, just to give you kind of the overview. We met once and we kind of worked out the kinks in Zoom as best we could, but it was functional. And then we did the circle, the same format. And again, I was the techie, which put everybody on thin ice, but I was able to muddle through and everything kind of worked out. And so it was very interesting. And Ava, if you hear this, she had been messaging us about kind of doing some more, and we're ready to do that. And it seemed like her schedule got kind of busy, which is understandable these days. And so I'd love to do some more work with that group. And that's it. Any questions, comments, or whatever you need?
I'd love to hear a little bit more detail about what happened. Like, what was the flow of it? How many people? How many groups? Did you do breakout rooms?
Sure. We did do breakout rooms. I forgot the exact number. I want to say around 12 or so. And we did 2 breakout rooms. And then Ava and Alex, again, I think facilitated one, maybe 3. It happened a while ago, before the coronavirus. So then I have to reboot. And it was mostly, it's interesting because the process is pretty simple, but it was also the worry about the Zoom technology issues that really, because if that doesn't work in a certain way, the rest of it can fall apart, to a certain extent. And so that was the issue. I had a little bit of problems doing the breakout rooms. In other words, I couldn't find myself in a breakout room. So I improvised and I just deleted one breakout room and I kept myself and some other people in the main session, and I was able to adapt that way. Since subsequently, Edwin has told me that there's a better way to, you can, it'll give you the option to go into any breakout room once you close the main room. I was afraid that I would just, the whole thing would go belly up. So I didn't do that, but now I know. And what else? Oh, and I remember Lou was talking about he sent an email about the hand raising protocol and how that works. That was very helpful. And so I'm trying to kind of learn a little bit more. The only thing is that I really have learned to trust the process more and more. Even through difficulties and things like that, if you kind of just stick with the process, you come out on the other side. And that's, I guess, the experience that I would like to share with new facilitators. The process itself really almost self-corrects if you stick to it. Okay, anything else?
It's great to hear about your experience, Bill.
Oh, thank you. Edwin?
Yeah, it's good to get that experience with the challenges, especially with like the technology. That is a real, especially if you're doing it on your own, you're trying to hold the facilitation and the technology. It's a lot to hold. It's very distracting, to deal with technology, and it's stressful. Yeah. So sounds like you had a little bit of a stress, but you were able to work through it.
Yes. Yeah. I find self-deprecating humor is always a good idea.
And how did you deal with facilitators? You had 3 groups, and
with 2 or 3. I mean, let's see. Yeah, we had, I forgot again, 2 or 3, but I tried to, since Ava and Alex were newer to the process, I think they were in one group facilitating together, co-facilitating, which is another great idea. And then I was in another group facilitating. And, you know, and when I am in that group, what I try to do is just kind of give myself over to the process and sort of let it happen and enjoy people. You know, I find that we are conditioned so much to be overly, I think, defensive. And so this process allows you to drop that. And then I'm always very pleasantly surprised. Anybody else? Marta.
On the topic, because you say it's a philosophical group, what was the actual topic?
Well, the topic was sort of like the process of the empathy circles, and I forgot exactly what the particular topic. There was an earlier one, but it was like one of the great ones. I love this topic. Was kind of the reasonableness or the reasoning behind intuition. And it sort of takes two what would seem, you know, opposite ends things, intuition and then logic and reasoning, and sought to kind of, you know, meld them, or at least go into and explore the relationship between them. And I find that that's particularly useful, since I believe that once you get into what we call paradigms or opposite, I'm sorry, not paradigms, or paradox, I meant, sorry, is that, and that seems, you know, mutually, you know, exclusive, you find that there are these things that are actually connecting them. And I find that personally fascinating. Anybody else?
I share that interest and fascination because I think it's true.
Thanks.
I would like to see those circles this talk.
Yeah, I don't think I have the recordings. Ava might. I don't know. We weren't quite that on the ball.
But did you get any feedback? Like, did you like a debrief of the participants? I was curious sort of what the tone was.
Yeah, I did, and I'm kind of combining that circle I did in an earlier circle I participated with them. And they were very appreciative of the process, because there was something else, as we say sometimes, there's something else going on other than just the discussion of the topic. There were some people who wanted to kind of get into a more free-flowing, this is what I would call, not to make anything that they're immature or mature people, but it's more of a mature group. So they've been doing this together, so the conversation flows a little easier. And so in the first time that we went through that, some of them wanted to kind of, you know, break out of the process and just go into a free discussion. But we didn't do that, and we stuck with the process. And then it was enough interest, interestingly, because that happened the first time. The second time, people were all on board for doing the process. And then, you know, we kind of stuck with it. And I would be happy to join with them, you know, either doing the process or not doing the process. I'm just sort of interested. So. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I will keep you apprised of my further adventures. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing that. I really found it interesting.